Now it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Jim Donald, the president and CEO of Starbucks. Jim had a long and distinguished career in the supermarket business before joining Starbucks, so he clearly knows what it's like to serve customers in a retail environment. Jim started work as a 16-year-old bagging groceries for a Publix chain store in Tampa. By 19, he was an assistant manager of an Albertsons store and owned his own home. He moved down to Albertsons and, that was a Publix store, excuse me. He moved down to Albertsons and quickly rose through the ranks, constantly being relocated to help struggling stores due to his reputation as a successful turnaround artist. He was going to night school, and because of moving and his hectic schedule, he ended up spending 15 years at 5 colleges before earning his degree. In 1991, Jim's reputation reached Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, who personally flew to Phoenix to convince Jim to run Walmart's new grocery division. In 3 years, Jim grew Walmart's fledgling grocery division from 6 stores to 146. That shows you a pace that he has continued at another company. From Walmart, Jim moved to Safeway, where he was president of Safeway's 130-store Eastern Division, and in 1996 he became CEO of Pathmark, a 143-store chain that was in financial distress. Jim reorganized the company and took it public. Jim joined Starbucks Coffee Company in October 2002, and 2 years later he was promoted to President and Chief Executive Officer. I know 2 people in particular who are very happy with Jim. The headhunter who placed him in all those different companies, and Howard Schultz, who was able to hire an incredibly talented, hardworking, and experienced leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for Jim Donald.
I got to tell you that the adulation for the faculty that Dean Jim talked about is really music to my ears. The energy in this room is incredible, and quite frankly, I wasn't expecting that, as I had a chance to talk to all of you a little earlier today. But I want to start off by telling you about a quote from Jack Welch. When he was a CEO of GE in the late 90s, early 2000, before the collapse, if you will, of certain corporations across America, Jack said that the future of business and the future of business leaders, all of you today, does not belong to those who make the numbers dance. The future of businesses, the future of business leaders like we have out there today, belong to those who make connections with people, who in turn make the business dance, which makes the numbers dance. Just park that for a minute and let me tell my story. I never got to sit in the seat that all of you are sitting in today and experience the excitement and the satisfaction of all the hard work that you are being honored for tonight. I often tell my 17-year-old son that my path through my life is not the way to go, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do it a little bit different. But there are several pieces of this journey that I think apply to each and every one of you, and if I may, I want to tell you about them tonight, and hopefully these life experiences, coupled with the hard work that you have just completed, will give you a head start as you leave the University of Washington tonight, or will fill in with what you're currently doing as you graduate. I travel all over the world now in my job, and I visit many different colleges and universities on those trips. My talks vary on subjects such as corporate social responsibility, growing an international company, thriving in developing countries, entrepreneurship, risk-taking, you name it, the subjects vary. But in each and every case, I do mention to the graduate students, in all fields I might add, that while the studies that they have accomplished are critical to your success, to their success, it's much more than that. To begin, I let these students know that for the past 38 years, the successes that I have experienced have been a result of having the ability to work in and around people of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, and at all levels of an organization. Jim mentioned Walmart. One of my first mentors, Sam Walton, once told me, never be bigger than the front line. The point he was making was this: in order to be successful, you cannot be perceived as somebody who is better than the person you are working with or is working for you. Sam built his business in this manner, and the successes that he enjoyed by empowering people at all levels, by never forgetting about the front line, is seen in a retail company now that will exceed $350 billion in sales. Now, I lived in Bentonville, Arkansas, and it was amazing to me to see the number of Walmart successes that were created at that front line level of the organization. And those successes were the result of that front line and every level feeling important and feeling empowered. To be successful in the field or the fields of your choice, you need the help and the support of every individual that is around you, from the associates that keep the engine running, if you will, the facilities clean, to the board members that uphold the governance of an organization. They're all important. There'll be a point in time when you will need their support and the respect of those individuals. When you work every day in this manner, every day, it becomes natural for you to operate in an environment, and that base of support that you will build goes far beyond your wildest imagination. And I can't tell you how important that is. It's something that I have embraced for 38 years. In addition to never being bigger than the front line of any company you might work for or business that you might start up, is this, and this is important: you will always be successful if you don't mind who gets the credit. Now, that quote I heard from another mentor and friend of mine, Bob Miller, who is the current CEO of Albertsons today. But remember what I said about never being bigger. You started to enlist this group of support. Now you have a team around you that is either going to help you run your own company, run a division, start up a company. But keeping that team together, driving towards one goal, you will soon see that if the team gets the credit deserved for the work accomplished, the goals, your objectives, the rungs on a ladder, come even faster than you ever would have imagined. Jim mentioned that I took over Pathmark Supermarkets as its CEO in 1996. I inherited an almost bankrupt $5 billion company where the average tenure was 25 to 30 years. When I got there, I started reviewing the background of all key executives. I found an unbelievable treasure chest of successes that they had accomplished. It was unbelievable. But here's the problem. The senior leaders were taking all the credit. The real leaders were not engaged. They weren't dancing. Getting rid of the senior leaders was easy. Motivating that middle tier of management was even easier. As we became a public company